Hello and welcome to CelebGrieve Chronicles, where we explore the stories behind the spotlight. Here, we look at how public figures navigate grief, loss, and healing, reminding us that even the people we admire most are human too. Because grief doesn't care about fame, money, or red carpets. It simply reminds us how hard we loved. You ever look at someone and think, wow, they're handling that way better than I ever could? That's the way a lot of people see Regina King, award-winning actress, Oscar winner, director and cultural icon. But behind the red carpets and standing ovations, she's also a mother navigating one of the deepest losses a parent can face. And what many people miss about Regina King's grief journey might actually teach all of us something powerful about healing. Before the awards and headlines, Regina King was just a young girl from Los Angeles chasing a dream. Many people first saw her in the sitcom 227, where she played Brenda Jenkins in the 1980s. But she didn't stop there. She went on to star in iconic films like Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, and the culture classic Friday. And she later became a fan favorite in Jerry Maguire. Then came the era where Regina King didn't just act, she dominated television. Her performances in American Crime earned her multiple Emmys. And her powerful role in If Beale Street Could Talk won her an Academy Award. Hollywood finally recognized what fans had known for years. Regina King wasn't just talented, she was legendary. But through all those years, there was one role she valued more than any award Hollywood could offer. And that was being a mom. Regina often spoke about her son Ian Alexander Jr. as her greatest blessing. In interviews, she described him as her favorite human being. They shared birthdays only a few days apart and had a bond that many people noticed was unusually close. When she posted about him, it wasn't Hollywood polish. It felt real, playful, and deeply loving. He was a musician, a creative spirit, and someone who many friends described as thoughtful and introspective. But grief rarely announces itself with warning signs that everyone recognizes. And in January 2022, tragedy struck. Ian Alexander Jr. passed away at age 26. For Regina King, the world suddenly stopped and completely changed forever. When the news broke, many fans were shocked. Regina released a brief statement describing Ian as a bright light who cared deeply about the happiness of others. And then something happened that many people didn't expect. She went quiet, no long public speeches, no dramatic press appearances, just silence. But, in a deeply honest conversation with Angie Martinez, Regina opened up about what grief really looked like for her. She said something that resonated with millions of parents. She said the grief of losing a child is something you learn to carry, not something you get over. And here's the part of Regina King's story that many people miss. Her grief didn't make her disappear. It reshaped how she shows up in the world. In interviews, she's spoken about honoring her son by living with the same compassion he had for others. She also launched a new orange wine called Me and You, which sounds like me and you, in celebration of her son's legacy. After all, it was Ian who introduced his mom to orange wine, which makes the release a very personal and intentional tribute. She also spoke about permitting herself to feel every emotion: anger, sadness, confusion, love. Not rushing healing, not pretending to be strong every second, just being human. That's something a lot of people overlook about grief. Strength doesn't mean you stop hurting. Sometimes strength means you keep breathing, while your heart learns how to live with a new reality. Regina King's journey reminds us of something powerful. Grief doesn't erase love. It proves just how deep that love really is. And in many ways, Regina still carries Ian with her. In her words, in her compassion, in the way she talks about mental health and the importance of checking in on the people we love. Sometimes the loudest love stories aren't the ones we celebrate when everything is going right. They're the ones that survive heartbreak. If Regina King's story teaches us anything, it's this. You never know what someone is carrying behind their smile. So extend grace, check on the people you love, and if you're walking through grief yourself, remember this. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Sometimes it simply means learning how to carry love forward in a different way. Thank you for watching this episode of CelebGrieve Chronicles. These stories remind us that grief connects us all, whether we live in the spotlight or quietly in our everyday lives. If you're navigating loss too, you're not alone. Our community is here to help you accept, adapt, and actualize your new norms.